again, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Bucs UK TV. Whilst it wasn't a win this week, we are still chipper and upbeat. The title, Don't Panic, Mr. Mainwaring. If you're too young to know, ask your parents what Dad's Army was and go from there. This week, I am joined once again by Dom, who returns by popular demand. And we have our regulars, Alex.
Thank you, hello.
Okay, we'll do that again.
Yeah, but I say Dom came in quite late there, didn't he?
And we are joined by Dom by popular demand.
Sorry. And again, Jake to eat.
Just say hello, man.
Hello, hi.
Perfect.
You're pausing. That's the trouble.
And we're joined by regulars Alex.
Hi, everyone.
And Adam.
Hello, everyone.
Brilliant. We'll get there in the end. By about episode 100, we'll know exactly what we're doing, I promise.
Yeah, we'll sort it.
Again, as usual, we want to hear your views on what you think has happened, will happen, could happen, might happen. This week on the forum, it exploded. We had our biggest forum thread ever, and that was on a Thursday overnight game. It was fantastic. There were dozens of people online during the game talking. It was a really great atmosphere. As we said before in last week's little video, it is group therapy. We do appreciate it. Do send in your views to mail@bucsuk.org. Do WhatsApp or video us 07311 212 713. And again, subscribe, give us your thumbs up. Really do engage. Post something in the comments down there. I've seen YouTubers pointing down, so that's obviously a pro thing to do. So I thought I'd drop that in, and then we'll go straight on to the game. So we will run through the usual running order for our game reviews. We'll go through the offense, we'll go through the defense, we'll go through the special teams. I have been reminded there isn't a category there for refereeing, but it may come up at some point. Dom, let's start at the beginning. Just, overall takeaway from the game for the offense.
Well, started well again, we seem to do, but the first quarter I was quite impressed. Brady seemed to have no problem at all finding the receivers. The O-line blocked quite well. And then it sort of went a bit downhill after that, unfortunately. They couldn't block Khalil Mack. I thought it was worst game, unfortunately. It was just, then again, it was a big ask to try and stop him. Dumb penalties. It was undisciplined football. That's what I'm looking all on the negatives here. On the positives, we got Rojo, who did superb, I thought, and Tyler Johnson as well. Quite surprised, really, because he missed training camp and he stepped up. Looks like an NFL receiver.
Adam, tell us some more positives then. You can dip in a few negatives if you need to.
Tyler Johnson, definitely a positive in that first half. And Brady was spreading the ball around quite well. I think he had like 4 or 5 different receivers in a 2 or 3 drives. Not really much of a problem in that first half until 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. And we all know what happened then.
Try to black it out.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to make it all about the officials, but yeah, they spoilt the game there.
Alex, what was your sort of highlights from the O side of the ball?
It was good to see Gronk getting more involved this week. I think he had over 50 yards receiving. So that was good there. I was also happy to see Tanner Hudson get a bit of game time as well. I thought he didn't do too badly. He had the drop at the end of the first drive, but I felt it was unlucky on that one because he got hit as soon as the ball got to him. But he did make some good catches to get us moving down the field. I thought the offense, in all fairness to the offense, I thought they looked pretty good generally. As Dom has already mentioned, what the problem really was the penalties, and that really affected us offensively. But in terms of the way the offense moved, generally I was quite impressed.
It reminded me of the old John McKay quote when he asked how he felt about his team's execution. He said he was all in favour of it. I think the game plan seemed okay because it reminded me a lot of the Saints game. That first drive down the field, the script was right, and when it executed, it seemed to work. Adam, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so you can't talk about the offense performance without talking about the O-line in almost every single thing. It all comes down to the little mistakes that the O-line make can really change the game. And that was definitely, from the second quarter onwards, that was definitely the case.
Yeah,
Do
there's
you
nothing
think-
more frustrating to me that when we're getting these stupid penalties before the play's even gone on, offsides and stuff like that. And there's nothing worse. The whistle blows, so frustrating. And it's just undisciplined. There's no excuse for that.
I think there's in the defence of the Bucs. I've been watching the highlights of other games around the league. Obviously, I don't follow them to the same detail as I do the Bucs. But what do you need to do to make it click?
Well, cut out the penalties would help, wouldn't it? And if we're on the magic wand, it'd be no more injuries. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Brait's a bit more involved now, but OJ's a big miss, isn't he?
Yeah,
big miss
time.
with the injuries.
I think if you're doing the magic wand thing and everything, Chris Godwin is a massive part of getting the defense thinking about other areas of the field. I think he can pop up in so many different areas out wide, or he can come inside, that it creates a nightmare for the defense. And everything else just becomes a little bit easier when he's lining up. And we can't wait to get him back.
And Mike Evans is not at 100%, so we do need some speedsters out there, don't we?
Yeah.
Blatantly obvious as well that the Mike Evans isn't healthy. You can see it, even though he's making the plays. It's so obvious. They can just roll coverage his way because they know he's getting the ball and they know he's not 100% fit.
I mean, we saw that early on as well. I think it was after the first one of the first plays, he limped off the field and had to sit out one of the plays. So immediately, Chicago knew he wasn't 100%. He still made some good plays. Don't get it wrong, but as both Adam and Dom say, we really need to get some players back, and those injuries are. Yeah, all teams are struggling with injuries, of course, but we're really starting to feel it now as a team as well, I think.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go down the rabbit hole with Donovan Smith?
The most frustrating player, I think, without question, Donovan Smith.
So frustrating. How good at games he has sometimes, and sometimes I wouldn't say flawless, but you don't even mention his name, and then he has these games with the flags. They're just lack of effort, and you just say, "Oh, what is this guy doing?"
Well, there was one play that showed where he was stepping back, getting ready to block Mac, and he tried to show Mac to the outside, and he's a huge gap between Smith and the guard, and he just went right through him and sat Brady. I think it was in the second half. He's just not disciplined at times. Some games he's had, and I think I'll say this season he's had a couple of good games, but last night he was really back to the Donovan Smith that we've seen far too much of, and it is a big problem, especially because Brady can't move as well as Winston.
He is what he is, and he does have good games and he does have bad games. And if you're the coaches, shouldn't you know that actually I need to get the running back blocking on his side, or actually I need to keep Gronk in for a little bit longer so that he can double team Mac for the first couple of seconds off the ball? Because I think if you're a coach, you've got to work with the players you've got. So we want everyone to have 99 Madden ratings, but they don't. So you have to work with what you've got.
True, but you've got Wirfs on the other side as well as a rookie, and Gronk's always seems to be protecting him on that side. So you've only got so many players who you can protect. That's the thing, isn't it? And Donovan Smith shouldn't really need protecting, I don't think.
But again, to credit to the O, historically the Bucs have always pretty much sucked on the opening drive of every game ever, and this year they haven't. So I don't think it's about being unprepared.
It was
you're
the
right.
closing drive, wasn't it? Sorry.
No, that's right, Dom. No, I just want to say, Kieron, I agree with your point there, but it seems as though that we've flipped. We're now extremely good on the opening couple of drives, and then so we start up here, and then the rest of the game we're going downhill. Now, like I said, I'm sure we'll get onto it later on, but obviously penalties was a big issue on Thursday and didn't help us there. But we just still can't quite. It's just still not quite clicking for whatever reason. We just can't keep it going for a full game at the moment.
It's a little unfair to say we're going downhill straight away. It was only the last game the Saints, okay, we done it with there, but like the Chargers game, we brought it right back, game-winning drive.
Yeah.
It's the last game, just and we got to talk
And
about
as
it.
we said in the episode title, don't panic. We're 3-2.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
you know, I'm not boasting, but when we did our season previews, someone may have had us at 3-2.
Yeah. You saw the
Yeah.
tweets then, Kieron.
The
So let's
sad
move
thing
to-
was to me, was Brady not getting the job done at the end as well. Because I was quite confident. That fourth quarter at the end, I thought, well, this is, especially when they made the mistake and gave him a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I know.
To be honest,
back, I
though,
thought.
when we got to that, like you say, Dom, though, when we got to that fourth quarter, our offense just looked gone. I don't know if they were just tired or what, but that last drive in particular, it just looked like there was nothing there. Whether or not it was just frustration because of all the penalties, or I don't know, but it looked like we were just really just praying for that clock to tick down. But when we got to that sort of final 2 minutes or so.
Shouldn't have even been in that position, should we?
No, we shouldn't.
If you ask me, the officials put us in a position where we should never have been in. Or more to the point, they put the Bears in a position where they should never have been in. They shouldn't have been in that game, and that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, especially that call on Barrett. That's just,
That was
Well,
ridiculous.
while we
Yeah,
stick with Tom for a bit,
Yes,
because then a couple of things have been said in the press, and we're not in the locker room. We don't know what's true or not. But the whole, is it fourth down? What down is it thing? I don't buy that everyone automatically has to know what down it is all the time and in the heat of the moment. So I did not play in the NFL. I played at a much, much lower level. But when it was 2 minutes, there was someone on the sideline shouting what the down was.
Yeah.
Particularly if the quarterback is calling the plays. When it's that quick, Tom's calling the play. He's thinking, what is the next play? And I can understand because we had the 5-yard run. And I think in his head, mentally, he thought that was a first down. And then he moved on to a whole new set of downs. So when he was rushing forward, I think he thought it was second down. And, I think that's where a lot of the confusion came from. I don't think he would have thrown the ball down the seam and pushed a fairly low percentage pass if he'd have known it was fourth down.
No.
Especially
I
when
think
we
you're
had
right.
all that time on the clock. With all the time left, there's no way you would have been going for a 20-yard chunk.
Okay.
With over a minute left. It's not Tom Brady.
We just needed a first down and then to clock it, didn't we? And then we can regroup and have a breather.
And now we've got a kicker. Would have been all right.
Yes. He didn't miss one. He got all of his. So, he did
Don't
well.
jinx it. Don't jinx it. We'll come back to special teams. And a bit like the mentality we had a few years ago, for me, this is a season about getting to 10 wins. Because if we get to 10 wins, that's the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the objective to everything. Yeah, I'd love to have a bye, home at home, and all that stuff. But we want to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
we
the last 4-game stretch of the season is, I can't remember, it's Lions, Falcons twice, and is it Panthers? Something like that. Could be Vikings.
I think it's Vikings. I think it's Vikings, yeah.
I put in, when we talked about the schedule, I think we said those last 4 games look quite tasty. Compare, none of them are in cold places outdoors, that sort of stuff. So actually, to get to 10 wins, we've only got to get to the bye week with 6 wins, and we're halfway there. So
I think it's certainly doable. Especially with our defense, who are playing out of their skin and have been since the start of the season. And as we know, defense wins championships. I don't see why, providing we stay healthy and this defense keeps playing how it is, why I agree with you, Kieron. I don't see why we can't do that.
So then on to the defense. And they, at times, I think the defense really played out of its skin today. But I think you'll probably all agree with me. There were a couple of plays. I think they were a bit cocky again. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, definitely. On the whole, I think they played well. That Carlton Davis one, I'm going to go back to the officiating with his PI. It's not PI. I've watched it about 15 times now, and he plays the play perfectly. 3rd and 2. He sticks to the man, Robinson, turns, looks at the ball. Robinson runs back into him, and that's what the flag is all about. And it's a terribly underthrown ball. You haven't got to be watching NFL for a long time to realise that is a terrible call.
So we're going to pin it all on the refs. Alex, is that right? Is it all about the refs?
I think I can see exactly what Adam's saying there. I think the refs set the tone for the game very early on. If I can just switch ever so briefly for about 5 seconds back to O, because the first penalty that was called was against Ryan Jensen for a hold. Now, I've watched that one back, like Adam with the Carlton Davis one. I've watched that one back many times. If that's a hold, then every time a player makes contact, you're going to get called for a hold each time. So I
I
think
the hands are inside the pads. If you,
it was ever so. I mean, I know, don't get me wrong, I know the rules. I understand the rules, but I mean, my goodness, if
you could even argue it wasn't affecting the play.
That as well, yeah. So I think the refs were looking for any form of contact from a hand on the body, and it didn't matter what play it was, whether it was on the defensive side or the offensive side. They were looking for it every time. I think that's why Carlton Davis got called on that one, and then. We look at the Shaq Barrett roughing the passer, which I'm sorry, that was absolutely ridiculous. He puts no weight onto the quarterback. It's not helmet to helmet contact. It's clearly the shoulder which goes in. That's how you make a tackle. And our defense were playing hard and fast as they always were. And I don't feel we can talk about the defense without mentioning the refs because they made it so hard for our defense last night.
It was just even seeing it at real time. I didn't think it was rushing the passer. And then I thought, well, maybe I've missed something. And then you show it in slow, it's still not. And then I was just questioning, what are they seeing? There's all those refs out there, and to throw the flag there, and of course, I think it was third down as well.
It was.
I was very disappointed in that.
It was 3rd and 19.
Yeah, 3rd and 19.
Yeah.
And then we did soft coverage from Foles and let him get the first down.
This is another thing that is irritating me. I like the blitz, but we cannot blitz as much as we've been doing. Can you imagine blitzing this much against Rodgers, Mahomes? Absolute field day.
Teams are working out how to play against us now. All they've got to do is send a running back or a receiver, just fade them out wide. And if we blitz them, that guy's going to be wide open. And that's how Chicago made up their yards all the time. When we sent our linebackers, our defensive linemen straight at the quarterback, all he had to do was wait for that pressure, throw it to his man who was open on the sideline, and they were getting good yardage down the field. And as Adam says, if we do that against Rodgers, he's going to have an absolute field day against us.
I do think we have to do a better job of hiding it, and there's some things you can do, like dropping the ends into coverage, although I'm not sure that's the best thing for JPP or Shaq to be doing on a regular basis. No. But you can hide it, you can rotate the zones. For me, yes, third down, it shouldn't be automatic send the kitchen sink. But I do think there's also an element of coverage. I think our coverage of backs out the backfield is terrible. We are the lines that the players are taking. They're going. They're pinching in too much rather than they should be keeping the outside contained, so that as the back comes out, they're always outside of them, so that it can't be thrown over your head. So many times we're seeing, those screens and that sort of looping swing passes, and I think that could be something. But I think also the fact that those running backs are having to cover those backs out the backfield, that's then leaving the next set of the field open. And for me, that's why the 10-yard hook, the run to the flag and dig stuff keeps being open. One thing we haven't talked about that we normally would have done by this point are the linebackers. Where were they?
Well, I thought Devon White, after last week's quiet game, I thought he'll really step up. But I think, did he only have 3 tackles? Something like that.
He was quiet.
Very quiet.
Not a quiet game for the pair of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought Levante almost got that pick where it just hit the ground into it. I thought they pulled it off, but it was. I don't know. It's just not clicking. If all they had to do was just see what the Colts had done the week before. I know the Colts are probably a better defense now, but
best in the league at the moment.
Yeah,
at the moment, yeah. I think the reason
big style.
I think the reason it was so quiet for our linebackers is that there wasn't a lot of plays from Chicago going through the middle. They were generally going out wide because that's where they knew they could get some progress on there. And most of the time we were just blitzing with our linebackers anyway, which left that middle of the field there. But there was no one from Chicago who was in that area of the field. So that could be why the game was so quiet for both David and White on that one.
Yeah, we need to keep David or White. One of them needs to be a spy, especially against Rodgers and your Mahomes and those types of quarterbacks. You can't just rush everyone at the same time. One of them's got to stay back.
because I think actually when we are sending the kitchen sink, what we're seeing is some mobile quarterbacks that are able to duck and nip a bit, and I think we're pinning our ears back so hard that we can't quite sort of break down and get to where we need to get to. But I think the secondary, despite having a couple of mistakes, I think they still played well, didn't they?
I think they played okay, yeah. I really do. Like I say, the press coverage seems to be a lot more successful than the soft coverage they play, especially in certain parts of the game. I don't know if it's scripted, but third quarter, fourth quarter, they tend to go back, let everyone catch the ball in front of them and try to make tackles. And then there's always one play that takes a massive chunk out of us. And I don't know why we play this soft coverage.
So I feel like there could be some magic wand action happening on the defensive side of the ball as well. But before we get to that point, let's go to our final third of the game then, the special teams. Dom, we'll start with you because you were praising the kickers.
Well, yeah, I thought suck up. What can you say? 4 out of 4. You'll take that all the time. I noticed a difference though because they got that to Cordarrelle Patterson, haven't they, or Cordarrelle Patterson, and what a dangerous player he is. We haven't got anything like him. And he was taking the ball right where most people had just let it run out, or he was running. He looked such a dangerous player. And I thought relatively they kept him. He had one really good run, but they kept him quite quiet.
It's kind of the spectre of Devin Hester, wasn't it, a little bit back there?
Yeah, it was. It was.
See a dangerous bear return. Go on, Adam.
They've got a lot of confidence in him. And when the whole team know he's going to do something special, it just tends to work. And I wish we could get to that stage where one run, one return might do it, might just kick us off, and we might have a few good returns. But they just had so much confidence in this guy that they knew he was going to get 15 yards, 20 yards. They're happy with him taking it back from his own line.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think absolutely. I think he's a very talented player, but the bit that I think again is overlooked. Some of the plays that I watched over a game were those punts and punt returns, and actually, what I was looking for were how well our gunners were getting downfield, because that's the thing I think we've struggled with so far. And what I saw was, I think it's hard to tell, but not a lot of lacking effort from them, but some really good blocking of them by the punt defense in the punt return unit. Often they had 2 guys out there, and you don't have to stop the person. They're sprinting down the field. You just have to put them out of their lane. And if you can get them out of their lane, so that you push them inside, so you can run outside, or you push them off the sideline, so you can run up the middle. And because it takes that much longer for the remaining 8 players to get down the field once they've gone off the snap. And I just thought that's what we need to get better at. We need to get better at blocking those gunners, blocking in punt return to give our guys a little bit more space, because the difference between 1 yard punt return and a fair catch and 9-10 breaking into 20-30 yards, I think is just some good blocking.
If we could just redirect them off their lane, innit? That's all it would take. Half a yard, just redirect them, and that becomes a 2 yard gap that the returner can squeeze through.
I mean, I have to admit, I thought in terms of the punt return or the punting game itself, I thought we did pretty well overall on that part of special teams. And Bradley Pinion, I thought had a great game with some of the punts he was doing. He was really pinning Chicago back. For me, the issue was because his name's gone, but the returner for Chicago, he was more. Thank you. Yeah, he was more used on kickoff returns, and that's where I thought we were struggling more in terms of our special teams. But punt returns, I thought we were doing okay. For me,
he ran at least one out of the end zone, didn't he? He wasn't going to let them. If it was returnable physically, he was going to take it.
Yeah, exactly. But every time on the, or I think certainly 9 times out of 10 on the punts, I think they were calling fair catches or maybe getting about 5 or 6 yards, if that. It was more on the kickoffs where they were really getting some success there.
So I think we've already had our offensive magic wands, and they've all gone on the O-line and flags. So you've only got half your wand quota left for the rest of the team. So we'll start with you, Adam. Where are you going to try and work the coach magic this week if you're Bruce Arians?
Injuries. I know it seems to be quite an obvious one, but we just got to get healthy, especially on the offense. Try and get at least Chris got it. And it's lucky we got this 10-day mini bye. Try and get as many bodies as we can back healthy. I know, talking about injuries, Vita Vea. Oh,
Massive loss. Massive loss.
I mean, Nacho, he's been doing some good stuff, and obviously Golston. I think that we've got some capable players, but you're right, they're not as good as Vaya. I think everyone would admit that.
They're not in Vaya's every play. Vaya is pushing them back. They double team him as well. He just pushes back. He's going to be such a loss again. I know you're coming on to Green Bay, but he's going to be such a loss.
Okay, Alex. So where are you going to expend your magic points?
I think it's trying to disguise our defense a little better, because it's so obvious when we're blitzing, because we're like, if I remember correctly, from what I saw, every time we were blitzing, we had all the defensive line and all the linebackers lined up on the line of scrimmage, and every time we blitzed, maybe we need to try and show something a bit different, just put some sort of fakes in there or something, and just try and line up slightly differently to make it harder for certainly when we get to Green Bay on Sunday, just try and make it a little bit more tricky for Rodgers.
Okay, and then Dom?
Dumb penalties for me. We're averaging 80 yards. I mean, if you just get rid of half of them, I'd do. If we can just get rid of the dumb penalties, some are inevitable. You're going to get pass interference and that. It's just the dumb ones that wind me up.
But don't just take our word for it. Again, the busiest forum thread ever. It was quite hard to work out who to quote and who not to quote. So apologies if you haven't got your moment of fame. We've got more than usual. So first of all, Scott Hanley, I don't know if this is devious marketing by you, but you're in third week in a row, and now we get to see your face. So I think that's brilliant. It's like a slow unveiling. Well done. Obviously, he's the one on the left, not the Argentinian kicker in the middle, if you don't recognise Martin Gramatica. Just watched the game back. I'm left scratching my head at that one. With 3 minutes to go in the second, losing was inconceivable. I think we were with you. Later, when we had the ball for 16 seconds before giving it to them, that was a shocker. And I never quote what I put on the forum, but this time I will, because I did say as soon as we got the ball, I said, I hope we don't just keep trying to run it every down and then lose the ball straight away.
Yeah, I think I agreed with you as well, Kieron.
Next, we have Nick Mort. And I think some nice balancing words from Nick. Take it in context, guys. After the last 3 weeks, the team was loving the smell of their own farts. I'm not sure if we can say that word. If not, I'll bleep it out. Sure, the refs didn't help, but neither did the play calling and boneheaded penalties. This is the best time to have a bad day because it means everyone can stop smelling and actually play football again properly. 3-2 is acceptable currently. So I think
that's the first time I've seen Nick without his Jameis Winston shirt on.
He didn't like Jameis. So then we've got Steve.
Always thought that this was going to be a difficult game, but as it progressed through the third and fourth quarter, thought it was going to be a case of winning ugly. As it turns out, it was a case of losing uglier. No doubt the game changed on the Shaq Barrett penalty, but how you can hold a team to 6 points in 58 minutes and still lose beggars belief. Can only think that come January we'll look back on this one and say, if only.
Gogglebox awaits.
Yeah.
I think he's right though, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think this could well be the game that we say if only, because if we get to 9 and 9's not good enough, this is the one that got away. We've only lost twice. The Saints wasn't close. This was.
I'm going to chime in here as well and say the officials, I know I keep banging on about it, they definitely played a huge part in us losing this game. And I don't think it can be said enough.
I hear you.
Yeah.
This conversation we've got to try and get the podcast finished in one day.
There's still so much we haven't said about the officials though, Kieron.
I just hope Adam doesn't know where they live.
Absolutely fuming.
Our next comment then comes from Richard Bolchin. Bruce Arians admitted they were outcoached, a wake-up call to the coaching staff. Tyler Johnson appears as though he has a very similar style to Godwin. Not entirely sure why he was an afterthought in the second half, as he was the most productive receiver for us. He did seem to fade away, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did, and he is very similar to Godwin. It's a good spot, that.
Like I say, he had a brilliant first half, and then you sort of didn't see him then at all.
No.
And then our final comment from new member Ryan Cormack. Ryan is the newest member, having joined 24 hours before the game. So welcome to you, Ryan. After going up 10-0 in the first quarter and Foles throwing wild, I thought this game was in the bag. Some ridiculous decisions from the referees. Clearly, he's on your side, Adam. Offense just couldn't get it going. The O-line was the worst I've seen in this season. Let's hope they study the tapes and learn from their mistakes for the Packers.
I think interesting point about the O-line there. I think certainly from a blocking perspective, maybe not great, but we got a running game going. So I think just to give the O-line some credit there, Rojo got over 100 yards. So they did really well to give us a bit of a running game there.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of Rojo's yards, mind, with this spin move he's come up with.
Yeah, really good.
He gets hit within the first yard, does a spin, and then makes a good 7-8 yards.
Yeah.
The more he continues to play like that, the harder or the better it's going to be when Fournette comes back and they've got a real serious 1-2 punch.
And it's also the way that he drives now as well. If you look at Rojo, his head's down. He is fighting for every single yard. If you think back to his first season, I know he was second string, but he wasn't really doing that. And over the past few seasons, he's really. I'm a big Rojo fan, and he's looking really good at the minute. That's over 100 yards rushing in a row now. So I think we're starting to get a run game going, and that O-line need praising for that, I think.
Yeah. And of course, when he was first drafted, he came out of college early. So he's a lot younger as well. So he's just maturing, I think. He's getting better and better. I'm really, really impressed with Rojo. Even more than last week. I thought he was superb.
And he caught the ball as well.
Yes.
Although the officials ruled it out for some silly reason. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. My fantasy team, and I was absolutely fuming. They blew it dead. They blew the play dead.
Stupid.
Another reason the officials suck.
Okay, I'm gonna move us on, guys. And whilst we're giving things away, this week it was Phil Jones's turn to do our members giveaway. And if you remember, there was a very nice orange Bucs UK polo shirt. Literally money can't buy. There's less than a handful of them in existence. And once again, we find ourselves with a wheel full of Woolards doing their best to try and win. But we can see, I hope there's lots of names there, including a few of our hosts, I believe, tonight.
Yes.
Such is the allure of the prize. So it's live. I'm not spinning it again if you don't win, Dom. We'll see.
Oh, you promised.
Our winner is David Chambers.
Wow.
Well done to you, Dave. As David Cambridge always says, obviously the second best David C on the forum. Well done to you. Well done to you, and you'll be pleased to hear there is another member giveaway competition next week. We are very lucky that no one other than our wonderful Dominic Hodgkinson has decided to donate some lovely memorabilia. There's a Bucs yearbook, I believe.
Yes.
And a team photo with printed signatures on the back. And I think Phil said he's going to throw in a T-shirt as well. So we're going to get something else going there as well.
I've got a T-shirt.
Oh, you've got a T-shirt. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. A Brooks Hall of Fame T-shirt, 55.
Ooh,
Nice.
So T-shirt, yearbook, team photo, all up for grabs. Get in the forum and get your entries in. So now we are on to the Packers and looking to try and bounce back. 4-2 certainly sounds a lot sweeter than 3-3. Alex, what do you think? What's your key to the game?
It sounds that's the obvious one, isn't it? Yeah, it's the one that everyone's thinking. We've got to stop one of the most elite quarterbacks in the game. he is. I've been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers for years. He is such a good player, and we've spoken about our defense and the pressure that the defense brings or brought against Chicago, and I just genuinely think if we do that against Aaron Rodgers on Sunday, he is going to have an absolute field day with us. So I just think we need to be really careful on how we line up and how we get ourselves set on that one. Also, as Dom said, I won't go into detail here, so as I'm sure one of the others might go into this, but we need to make sure we stay disciplined as well. We need to stop giving away the silly penalties.
I think actually Rodgers, it's one of those cases where I think his demise had been sort of over communicated, probably prematurely. To put into context, he is, I think, 7 years younger than Tom Brady. So he was sort of being portrayed as, over the hill and, no longer good. And maybe he's lost his arm a bit. Maybe he's not quite got the pace he had. I think this year he's showing he can do whatever needs to be done.
I think the reason for that, I think it really lit a fire in him, was the fact that Green Bay drafted a quarterback. I think that was the moment he thought, like, you know what, I'm going to show him. And they've been, are they unbeaten at the moment, or are they 3-1? I can't remember, but I know they've certainly won more than they've lost at the minute, and they're looking really scary. And like you say, Rodgers is playing as formidably as he always has been. And I think it's because they drafted that quarterback.
Go on, Adam. How scary is Rodgers if you're the other side of the ball?
I don't know what the thinking was behind drafting that quarterback, but whatever it was, it's worked for Rodgers. Whether it's a fire underneath him or whether it's proving everyone wrong, whatever they've done, he is playing out of his skin. He's playing like the Rodgers of 6 years ago, 5 years ago. My key to the game is getting everyone healthy. I think we haven't got to pray if we can't get at least a few of our offensive pieces back together.
And was it you that mentioned Godwin?
Yeah. God, he's so important to our offense. Like I said in the build-up, just having him lining up on the outside or the inside coming in gives the defense a nightmare to think about. So I think he is integral, getting him back into the lineup.
Dom, your key to the game.
Well, other than Rodgers, it's Aaron Jones for me, the running back.
The other Aaron, yes.
Yeah, and he's multi-purpose. He catches as well as he runs. So hard. The linebackers are really going to have to watch him as well when he breaks.
He's been having, again, another amazing season. I can't help but which way round do you think it goes? Do you think is Aaron Rodgers having the season because he's got Aaron Jones, or is Aaron Jones having the season because he's behind Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know.
I'm
not sure.
They're both frightening.
They're both playing out of their skin. And if we could just stop one of them, it'd help.
I think if I just can what Dom said there, I think mentioning Jones is a really good point, because for me, just going back to Vita Vea, he was a massive reason why we were so dominant in stopping the run.
Yeah, good point.
It's going to be really interesting to see if we can really stop a running back this week. I know he's only one player, but he's right in the middle of that three that we have at the defensive line. Is that going to make the difference?
In terms of a Bucs player to watch and keep an eye on, someone you think who, they may not have the best performance, but they're pivotal to that success. Obviously, Alex, you talked about Vita Vea's absence. So who's the player that is going to be there that we need to watch?
I think we're going to see Nunez Roches in there. I think he's going to be starting. So I think it'll be really important to see if he can step up and fill the void that was going to be left by Vea, because he's going to have to do that for the rest of the season now. He's going to be first string there. But what I saw against, when he came in against Chicago and a few of the other plays the other times he's coming, he looks pretty solid, in all fairness to him. I don't think he's really made a mistake, and he's shown that he can get to the quarterback as well. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does and if he can really take the load that Vita Vea was taking, because I don't think Vea really missed many snaps at all. Maybe a handful of game tops, but obviously now that's going to be flipped for Nunez Roches. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on.
And Dom, who's a Buck that you think needs to step up or be pivotal?
Well, I don't know about. Well, I suppose both. Yeah, Devin White again. I think you can't have 3 quiet games. I'm not having it, and he's got to play well, because if he has a quiet game against Green Bay, we're in big trouble. Those linebackers have really got to play out the skin. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
Adam, who have you got your BDI on?
Well, I'm got my BDI on two guys, the 1-2 punch. I'm hoping Fournette and Rojo are both going to be fit and fighting. And I think it'll be pivotal for us to get a running game going on them to make them think about something. I know it's easy to think that Aaron Rodgers is going to come in and throw touchdowns left, right, and centre, but I think our running game has got to shut them up. So Rojo and Fournette are the ones to watch for me.
Do you know, it's funny, we were talking about, is Fournette going to be taking over the starting position by the time we're playing Green Bay?
Yeah.
But Rojo's defended his spot. Fournette clearly wasn't healthy last week, even though he was in pads. I think, did he only go out for the kneel down, I think, before the half?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably just to make sure he got his game log or his union dues or something paid. But and I think Vaughn did really well. But clearly the weight of it is on Rojo, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. He's our starting running back. He's of the main three. He's because isn't McCoy injured as well at the minute? Of the three, he's the only one that's fit. But like you say, Kieron, when Vaughn came in, I thought he looked okay. Obviously, he's a rookie. It's going to take him time, but he made some good plays. So just going back to what Adam said about the 1-2 punch, maybe Vaughn might be able to do something if Fournette's not quite ready. He might be able to be a part of that.
And I know, Adam, you were probably talking about them in a sort of bruising, bashing, gaining the yards sense, but I think I would probably value them more in pass pro and actually third down, keeping Brady upright, protecting whichever side of the line struggling most that game. I think it's probably where I'd like to see them. My buck to look out for, I think, is Jamil Dean. I think Carlton Davis has been excellent and players are throwing away from him. I think the league is waking up to Winfield. And I think Dean, he could have had some picks. I think he's getting in the right place. Earlier on in the year, it felt like he was being picked on. I think a couple of teams thought that was the weakness in the secondary, and I don't think it is. But I think he's going to get whoever the second best player on the field is, and I think the Packers don't have a useless set of receivers by any stretch of the imagination. They're kind of like they're the opposite of the Bucs receivers in that I think they're all talented, but they're kind of no name by comparison. For every throw that Rodgers is making, someone's open and catching it.
Yeah,
I think Green Bay's receivers are severely underrated. I really do, because Rodgers is, he's like you say, he's putting the ball to them every time, and they're making plays. That's a sign of a good team. It doesn't matter who you've got in terms of your receivers. They're making catches and they're making plays.
So that's my thing. So in terms of the scores and how we're going to call it, maybe we'll come to you first, Dom, and then we'll go Alex and Adam. What's your score prediction? How's it going to go down?
It might be more hope, but I'm going to, any given Sunday, I will go 24-21 to the Bucs.
So that's winning it on a field goal late, do you think?
Yeah, late field goal as time runs out. Straight
Alex,
down the middle.
What do you think the score's going to be?
Well, in our schedule preview show that we did, I had us down as winging this originally. I'm gonna be the bad guy here. I've lost a bit of faith after Thursday. I'm gonna go. I think Green Bay are gonna win this, but I think it's gonna be close. I don't think they're gonna get rid of us that easily. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be. I think there'll be. I'm gonna go 24-21. I think it's gonna be really Green Bay. I think it's gonna be really close.
So you've just gone through the looking glass and now we're losing by a field goal. Okay, I like that. Adam, can you split the difference? Is it tie?
I haven't lost any faith at all. I'm going for it. And
Go
I
on,
think
son.
I originally said this was going to be a big shootout, and I still think it's going to be a high point game, maybe not a massive shootout, but 34-31 to the Bucs.
Ooh, that'll do.
Wow. I certainly take it. I hope I'm wrong. Trust me, I hope I'm wrong.
Another field goal's different, or worse, a missed PAT. Let's not have that. So I think this has got like choose your own adventure written all over it. I think if we get the good Bucs coming up and playing, I think we can go toe to toe with the Packers all the way. In the season predictions, I did have this game down as a loss. I had us starting on a bit of a losing streak, and I worry how resilient our team is, mentally and in terms of gelling, how they could respond to back-to-back losses. Unfortunately, I do think we lose the game. I think we're going to see a few more penalties yet, and before we get some affirmative action. I'm not even going to say a score.
Come on, Kieron.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Okay,
Kieron, I don't blame you. I was struggling to think of a score as you saw. So
I'm thinking something
I
like
don't blame you.
35-14.
35-14.
Oh, wow. Oof.
And I could even see us going ahead again.
At least I'm giving us half a chance in my
Wow.
score, Kieron.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So,
Wow.
So if you want me, my address is Cardiff. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but I haven't been yet.
I'm assuming everyone's going to be fit for the Bucs.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then I really do think there's a good chance we could win.
Yeah, we're right, Adam. Don't listen to these doom merchants.
God, Tom's just come on with all the insults over the past couple of weeks. Goodness me.
We have to stop there. I've got no idea how long you at home have been watching this for. It's now Thursday here. So I think we have to draw a line under it there. But thank you so much, Dom, Alex, and Adam. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. And go Bucs. Let's hope we beat the Packers. And we'll see you next week.